my channel. I am coming at you today with kind of, it's a get ready with me. I have a work event later on tonight where I'm going to a very popular venue here in the Nashville area that has asked me to be the makeup artist at their open house tonight. So I am going to do that, and I thought, you know what, I want to look a little bit more glam put together, but I want to do also something that is highly requested from my clients so they can kind of get an idea of looks that I do on top of, you know, what my portfolio shows. And ever since I talked about this palette in my favorite palettes video, I've had a lot of people ask to see a look with it. So I decided to pull out my beloved Lorac Unzipped palette. This is the original Unzipped palette. I know that they either have already or are going to, I'm pre-filming this video, so I don't know, launch 3 more of the Unzipped palettes. And because of that, I really just wanted to concentrate on the original because it's hard to get better than this. I'm definitely going to check out the new ones, but this mauve rose toned, it's just, it speaks to me. I love it. So this is kind of the look that is my go-to for bridesmaids who come at me and say, I'm not afraid of makeup. I don't want to go natural. I want to be glam. This is kind of the look that I go for that. And as well, I have used these on a couple of brides who really want like a very bold glam eye, because for bridal, this is considered bold and they want to keep it in the cool toned arena. This is kind of what I go to. So if you are interested to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. Okay, so we're going to start out with the eyes, and I haven't even primed them, so I'm going to use my Bare Minerals 5-in-1, and then I just take whatever powder I'm using that day and set it. So I'm going to set my under eyes with the Too Faced powder, so I'm just going to use that to set my lids. Now we're going to start out with a color that's not in this palette, only because I feel like you need to go in with a slightly lighter color than what's available in here. So see, the lightest color is, the lightest matte color anyways, is this color right here, and that's just a little darker than I want for an actual transition shade. So I'm just going to go in with a color in this Tardis Pro palette, or Tardis Pro palette, to use as a transition. And I think I'm going to use the color Innocent. You can see right there. So I'm taking this on my Wayne Goss number 16 brush. It looks dirty, but I assure you that it's not. They do suggest you only wash these once a month, so I don't even spot clean them, but the pigment doesn't really stay in the hair. So with that shade Innocent, and I'm just going to put that very messily in my crease, just as a starting point for the rest of the shades. Okay, so before I go in with any other crease colors, I'm going to set a base down. I don't carry this one in my kit. I have mostly cream pot shadows in my kit, but this one is the one that I have in the tone that I usually reach for, and it's the Batter Up Long Wear eyeshadow stick from the Balm, and this is in the color Moonshot. So I just tend to, you know, go for something pinky or more rose gold, since that's obviously the color tone of this palette. And I'm just putting all that over my lid. I just want something for the lid color to attach to, and I do find that it makes eyeshadows last longer as well. Now we are going to go in with that other color I just showed you from the palette. It's called Unconditional, Wayne Goss number 18 brush for this. And I'm just going to put that more concentrated in the crease. This is the brush that kind of is reminiscent of the MAC 217. So it's a little bit more tapered and easier to be a little bit more precise. So now we are going to do the lid color, and I do, for my like signature look, I do 2 of the colors. I start off with a darker one and then I add a lighter one on top. So the darker one that I start out with is called Unattainable, and it's probably, other than that, it's the darkest shimmer color in the palette. I'm using my Zoeva 234 Luxe Smoky Shader, and I'm just going to really pack that on the lid on top of that base. Then I'm going to turn the brush around, so I'm going to use the same brush, just on the clean side, and I'm going to go in with Unreal, which is kind of the star of the show. This is what makes it that bright rose gold, beautiful color, and I really think that I'm going to hit pan on this pretty soon because I use it so much. But all we're gonna do with that is just place it on top of Unattainable. I feel like this just gives it a little bit more dimension rather than going straight in with the Unreal shade and having it be too light. Plus, when I work on clients, I'm all about layering because layering normally translates to longevity. So that's another reason that I do that. So now I'm gonna go in with probably my favorite cranberry burgundy color of all time. It's called Unbridled. It's right here up in this corner. It's matte, it's deep, it's so pigmented. It's amazing. Honestly, I'm so wish they carried this in a single shadow because I will hit pan on that first and I will be so sad. So what I'm doing is I am really packing this on because we will be blending it out. I'm using an E54 from Sigma. I'm not worried about fallout. I mean, I'm tapping my brush off, but I do eyes first for that reason. So it's okay if it falls out. Some of it will. It's a pigmented color. I don't think fallout means it's a bad shadow. I think fallout means it's just pigmented. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially when you're wanting something this smoky. So I'm gonna take my Morphe M433 and start to kind of blend the edges out. And then I just reapply as needed. Because when you blend out a shade, it's going to take away some of the pigment that you laid down. That's just normal. So just keep on building up, pack it on, blend it out, pack it on, blend it out. I'm gonna go back into the Unconditional shade, and I'm actually gonna put it on the big fluffy 16 brush by Wayne Goss, and I'm just going to add a little bit more color. I don't normally wear liner. If you follow me for any amount of time, you know that. But because I normally do liner on my clients who asked for this look, I'm going to today. And I'm using the Deck of Scarlet Long Lasting Liquid Eyeliner, which I mentioned in that video being so good. I have to get really close, so if I go out of focus, I'm sorry. Okay, so now we're gonna go into face. And I did not do this before because I knew I was gonna have a lot of cleanup under the eyes, but I'm just gonna put a small dot of the Ordinary Squalene Oil under my eyes to refresh them for when we get to concealer. I'm going to use the Lancer Danny Glowy Skin Perfector as my primer. I'm using my Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude Water Fresh foundation with my IT Cosmetics foundation brush. I tried the Drunk Elephant SPF today, and it's like flaking off. I don't know that I really like that. Now I'm going to go in with my corrector. Not normally the order that I do things in, but that's okay. This is the Sephora Bright Future Gel Serum Corrector. To cream contour, I'm going to use my Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate. And I really like to have a bronze forehead. I honestly feel like it looks natural that way because that's the first place that kind of sticks out and sees the sun anyways. But I just really like to have a bronze forehead. So I go a little ham sometimes. Personal preference. Definitely not something that has to be done by y'all. I'm going to go back and set my under eyes with the Too Faced Ethereal. I can't ever say that. I always want to say ethereal. Ethereal. I think I've talked about this in my July favorites. How am I going to set a concealer I haven't put on? I'm losing my mind. I'm going to use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I haven't been sleeping well for some reason. Normally I'm someone that can, like, honestly, my head hits the pillow and I'm out, and Chad's always been so jealous of that because sometimes it takes him like 2 hours to fall asleep. He just can't shut his mind off, and I've never had that problem, but lately I cannot sleep. I don't know what the deal is. Now I'm gonna set my concealer with the Too Faced Ethereal Setting Powder. Anyways, I haven't filmed my July favorites yet. Like, I'm pre-filming all this because I'm going to Florida and I'm trying to get some videos done. But I hope to goodness I remember to put this in my favorites. If for some reason I didn't, it's a favorite. It's a favorite for the face, but I really like it for the under eyes. Now to set my entire face, I'm going to use the by Terry Hydra Blur. I'm still in the process of testing out this foundation, so I'm trying to use a different powder every day, and that's the one I'm going to use today. And I'm going to use my Wayne Goss number 2 brush. I know I will have already put up my review of this foundation, so you'll already know what I think of it, but this is the day, obviously, with the by Terry powder and the Lancer primer. So as much as I love the by Terry powder, it can have a tendency to kind of stick on to what it's applied to. So I like to go over and kind of just diffuse it a little bit with no more product, but just with a big airbrush blurring powder brush. It's the summer and all the teenagers are out in full force with their loud cars, and I know I was a teenager once. I'm not even gonna go there. Like, really, I'll never go there. Okay, for bronzer, I'm gonna use the Balm Desert Bronzer Blush. I love this blush as you can see. It has a sizable hole that just keeps getting more sizable. I'm using my Zoeva 101 Luxe Face Definer. I like to use this brush, oh my goodness, I can't talk. This bronzer when I'm wearing cool toned or pinky purple eye looks, because it does have a pink undertone to it, hence the reason it can also be used as a blush. And I just think that it kind of pulls out all the tones together. For blush, I'm going to use Becca Luminous Blush in Camellia. So it's that nice pink. You don't need a lot of this. And I'm gonna buff it out anyways, but I'm gonna buff it out with my Hourglass Radiant Light. And because I just don't feel like getting up one more time to get another brush that I forgot, I'm gonna use that same powder brush, the blurring brush, because it serves the same purpose. And I'm gonna use the Dior Skin Nude Air Luminizer today. And this is in the color 01 Nude Glow. No particular reason for this. I don't carry this in my kit. This is personal, so. In my kit, I would probably use the Hourglass Luminous Light, or I have the Smashbox highlighters and some ABH highlighters. Just what I chose to use today. And because I have no other water to spray on my face, and I don't feel like getting up again, this is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water, which can also be used to not necessarily set the face, but kind of diffuse any powder. So now we're gonna go back to eyes, and I'm gonna take, it's gonna be a Wayne Goss kind of day, because I'm gonna take the number 5 brush and go back into that wonderful cranberry color, and I'm just gonna place it kind of halfway under my eyes. So I'm gonna connect it to the side and bring it in just like that. So I'm not gonna go all the way in. I don't wanna close my eyes up. So just about midway. And then I'm actually gonna take this one because it's clean, the number 19 brush, and go into Unconditional, which was that mauve-y, dusty rose type color, and buff it out. And I will take this all the way to the inner corner. I know I preach this like every single video, but I honestly feel like this brings the entire look together. Unless I'm doing a very specific or very, very natural look, I rarely ever go without smoking out the lower lash line. Now, obviously, I will go more intense on some looks than others, but now my personal preference is to tightline and waterline with a black for this look. There are many times that I will not do anything in the waterline for a client, but I almost always do tightline, especially if they are wearing false lashes. I think it makes the space between your lashes right there that you tightline that much more evident when you're wearing false lashes. So I feel like it's almost imperative to hide it. And then I'm gonna go in with Undercover. This is like a matte white. So we're not shimmering highlight. I have a lot of shimmer on the eyelids, so I'm not too concerned with, you know, being super bright and shimmery on the inner corner, but this is such a pretty white matte that honestly it does the same effect for highlighting as if you were wearing a shimmer. This just makes it an all-inclusive palette. And if you wanted a shimmer, you definitely could just use the highlight we used on her face, but I like the effect of that. Now, one more step. I'm gonna take this number 18 brush and I'm just gonna kind of go the very outer edge. I didn't put any additional product on it. It had that pretty mauve color anyways, but I don't want any kind of separation right there. I want it to all be blended together. So just kind of out on the edge, make sure there's no lines. I'm gonna do my mascara and stuff off camera and I'll be back for lips. Now for lips, I'm just gonna do probably one of my favorite combos right now. Obviously you can do whatever you want, but I'm using the YSL Rouge Couture number 70. This is a pink nude type of lipstick. It's gorgeous. This is a little mini one, but it's included in the Nordstrom anniversary set that I think I'm gonna get because I love this lipstick. And of course, because I am a gloss girl, I have to top it. And my favorite gloss of all time is currently Bare Minerals Far Out. So this is the finished look. This is the look that is highly requested from my more glam brides and bridesmaids, and it's using one of my all-time favorite palettes, the Lorac Unzipped palette. Obviously there are endless possibilities with this, but this is my go-to look. So hopefully you enjoyed. Be sure and leave me your comments down in the comment section, and I will list and link everything that I used in the description bar. Be sure and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a very blessed day.